Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay. All right, so I'm just looking to the next page of the lesson, and it's a very nice one. You can put it on the screen. This, or I can put it if you give me. You got to go on further. Let me have the screen share.
Okay. can share now, Maharaj.
Om Gana Timirandasya Jananjana Shavakaya Chaksu Unmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Everybody got it?
Yes, we can see it, Maharaj.
So we were trying to go over all these things and look them up, and here it is. It's quite interesting. Diagram, I think they call this a mind map or something. It's a way of studying and a way of looking at things. So who would like to make an explanation of this? Who is daring?
Mm.
I mean, it's quite simple. You just follow, start from the Mahatattva, and then it's just what happens, you know. You go in either direction, I guess. Well, you can either start with goodness or passion or ignorance. You have a choice. And then when the Mahatattva mixes with those modes, this is what happens. And then it's a real summary of a lot of verses. We went over it a couple of times trying to, get it straight, but this makes it really nice arrangement. Okay, Tamal Krishna.
Yeah.
One, you can start with the false ego plus goodness. That comes out. When the false ego mixes with goodness, then what happens? It's all right there, so just repeat it.
Yeah, Maharaj, maybe you can help us out. Maybe we can.
Yeah, well, just read off, when from the Mahatattva comes the false ego. But then when it mixes with the different modes, you get different results. And that's the creation of the universe, actually. But so when it's goodness, what is it?
Mind direction, demigod directional movement.
Yeah.
Okay, Maharaj, it's saying that the two side, the goodness and passion, but on the right side is showing a false ego plus ignorance. Trying to understand. So when it mixes with goodness, what it produces is the mind, the demigod directional movement. Okay, passion then produces ear, touch, eye, tongue, nose, legs, hands, anus, genital, and voice.
Okay, well, you got to divide that up. See,
It says
the mode of passion, there's two things. The senses come up, but the Jnana, Indriya, the senses for acquiring knowledge.
ear, touch, and eye.
Those are our
tongue and nose. Okay. The five knowledge acquiring senses and the five working senses: leg, hands, anus, genital, and voice. Okay, now it's making sense. I think I'm trying to understand the diagram now.
Yeah, that's passion, obviously, means all these things are going to start happening. And then with ignorance, we get all the gross elements. And what qualities they have. So this is, it's must be something important because it's there in the Bhagavatam. Because we have to understand the mature world, and Krishna created all this. He's, genius. Krishna is unlimited genius. So just go down over it, pick someone. The first element is what? Ether, huh?
Ether.
And that's the most.
That produces the sound.
Yeah. Sound travels through ether. Sound is very subtle. And that's what's referred to in the Bhagavatam usually as the sky, Now, usually we think of the sky as just what we can see, the blue sky. But this means that like the whole outer space where there's no air, but there's ether, there's a subtle element. But I think like radio waves, Wi-Fi waves, all these electromagnetic frequencies, I think everything travels through the ether, not through the air. So the ether now is highly polluted. And sound vibration, we need to purify it. It's our duty, right? To spread the transcendental sound vibration to purify the ether, because that polluted ether is affecting the minds of everybody very much. Then from the ether, what comes?
From the ether comes the sound.
No, which next element is produced by the ether? From the ether. We already went that. The sound is present in ether. And then from the ether comes the next more gross element, which is right there on your screen. Huh?
Yes, sound and touch.
From ether is air.
And within the air, what senses are functioning? It's just written right there. All you have to do is read it.
From ether, air.
Within the air is sound and
Sound and touch.
touch. Yeah.
Yes.
The touch sensation is somehow depends on the air. It's like we can feel the wind and we can feel warmth and cold and all those things. And from the air, fire. So it's interesting. So ether, sound, and touch, they don't have any form. Then fire comes. Fire has sound and touch, but also form. And then what comes from fire?
Water.
Yeah. From the heat. Things evaporate water out. And then we get taste added. And then the earth. Read it off. So the earth has all the five senses.
Sound, touch, form, and taste. Then the earth gives the sound, touch, form, taste, and the
Odor.
odor.
All the smells come from the earth. So many different smells, so many different tastes. They're present in the earth, they're present in the water. Fire, I don't know if anybody's ever identified a taste of fire. Right? All right, so anyway, they should keep this because otherwise looking up all this stuff, it takes a while. Here, everything's all in one place. Something to meditate on. If you can download this picture, I recommend doing that. Okay, now what comes next?
It's amazing how
One
Krishna
book assessment questions. So it's telling you what's going to come up, you know. Answer 2 of the following essay questions in 600 to 800 words. That's what, 1 page, a little more than 1 page typed out. It's only 3. They just picked 2 out of 3, huh? Okay. Salika, you just assign someone read. Just read the first one, number 1. This is personal application. And then give a hint of what you would write. Okay?
which page were you asking us to read, Maharaj?
Chitra Prutra, you there?
Yes,
Yes, Maharaj.
yes, Maharaj. I'm here.
Okay, read it.
So, okay, Prabhu, please can you share the screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to get where Maharaj wants us to read because it's like on a different page.
Okay.
Here it is. Okay.
So, personal application 1, identify your challenges in avoiding the offenses in hearing and chanting. How has your study of this unit helped you to overcome these challenges?
That's a pretty challenging one.
Yeah.
Can you make some comment? I mean, it's asking to write like 600 words. That's about 1 full page.
Should I continue?
No,
Maharaj is
just
asking a question. The identify.
how would you, what would be the basic idea that you would write?
Okay. 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 So, in my personal life, some of the challenges that some of the challenges that makes me commit offenses in hearing and chanting. Some of it is sleeping. Some of my challenges not having sleeping because of waking up early to the altar, waking up deities and that. So sometimes after finishing my morning duties, dressing up the deities and that, sometimes when class is going on in the morning, Bhagavatam class is going on, sometimes I'll be dozing off. that is some of my one of my challenges, and that is in waking up. Yeah. So that the challenge is waking up early. So and that makes me commit offense in hearing Bhagavatam, or let's say sometimes when I'm chanting, I'll be, instead of hearing the holy name, I'll be dozing, I'll be sleeping. So that is one of my challenge, Maharaj. That is one of my challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, so what is the secret to wake up early? This is something that I see coming up on the internet a lot, because many people that
Maharaj, please come again.
what is the secret to waking up early? Very simple secret. Is it having a really loud alarm clock, or?
Yeah.
Or what is it?
Maharaj, I have an alarm clock. I have an alarm on my phone.
And what is it? What is the secret?
Is it not early to bed?
Wake up early.
Early to bed.
That's right. It's not
The solution?
go to
If
sleep
early-
early, you'll wake up early. And that's
Okay.
what we're doing.
Okay.
So how has study of this helped you? And would you like to see this verse 2:1:11?
The constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and careless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and all those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge.
Okay, comment?
So the purport. The previous verse, the great necessity of attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment and thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. More or less, they are satisfied in themselves by self-realization. Above them are the devotees of the Lord who neither aspire to enjoy the material world nor desire to get out of it. After the satisfaction of the Lord, this Sri Krishna, in other words, the devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal accounts. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities. And if the Lord does not desire this, devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied, because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. This way, in this verse, Sri Sukadev Goswami recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy name of the Lord by offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of the Lord. One becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord, and then with the attributes of the Lord, and then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes, etc. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from authorities. This means that hearing from the authorities is the first essential. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing. I take that again. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about its forms, its attributes, its pastimes, and so on. And thus, the necessity of chanting of his glories develops successfully. This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. According to Sri Sukadev Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact, concluded not only by him, but also by all other previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need for further evidence. The process is recommended not only for the progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievement as fruitive workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. So Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done, and it should be performed offenselessly as well, as recommended in the Padma Purana. One can deliver himself from the effect of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. One can deliver himself from all the offenses at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. But one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Such offenses are mentioned in the Padma Purana as being 10 in number. And Prabhupada stated the offenses. The first offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. The second offense is to see the holy names of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all the universes, and therefore he may know in different places. He may be known in different places by different names, but that does not in any way qualify the fullness of the Lord. Any nomenclature which is meant for this, Lord is the sorry. Hare Krishna, there's some noise, so I'm trying to check whose voice is making the noise. So can I continue reading?
Yeah.
So the second offense is the holy name. Okay. The second offense is the holy name of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all the universes, and therefore he may be known in different places by different names. But that does not in any way qualify the fullness of the Lord. And the nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as the others because they are all meant for the Lord. Such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord, as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. The third offense is to neglect the orders of this authorized acharya or spiritual masters. The fourth offense is vilify scriptures or Vedic literatures. The fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of one's mundane calculation. The holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord himself, and one should understand the holy name of the Lord to be non-different from him. And the sixth offense is to interpret the holy name. The Lord is not imaginary, nor is his holy name, nor is his holy name. There are persons with a poor fund of knowledge who thinks the Lord to be an imagination of the worshipper, and therefore think his holy name is to be imaginary. Such a chanter of the holy name of the Lord cannot achieve the desired success in the matter of chanting the holy name. The seventh offense is to commit sin intentionally on the strength of the holy name. In the scriptures, it is said that one can be liberated from the effect of all sinful activities simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who takes advantage of this transcendental method and continues to commit sins on the expectations of neutralizing the effect of the sin by chanting the holy name of the Lord is the greatest offender at the feet of the holy name. Such an offender cannot purify himself by any recommended method of purification. In other words, one may be a sinful man before chanting the holy names of the Lord, but after taking shelter in the holy name of the Lord and becoming immune, one should strictly restrain oneself from committing sinful acts with a hope that his method of chanting the holy name will give him protection. The eighth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord as his and his chanting method to be equal to some material auspicious activities. There are various kinds of good works for material benefit, but the holy name and the chanting are not mere auspicious holy services. Undoubtedly, the holy name is holy service, but it should never be utilized for such purposes. Since the holy name and the Lord are of one and the same identity, one should not try to bring the holy name into the service of mankind. The idea is that the Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer, is no one servant or other supplier. Similarly, since the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one's personal service. The ninth offense is to instruct those who are not interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord about the transcendental nature of the holy name. If such instructions is imparted to an unwilling audience, the act is considered to be an offense at the feet of the holy name. The 10th offense is to become uninterested in the holy name of the Lord, even after hearing of the transcendental nature of the holy name. The effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egotism. False egotism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for enjoyment of one's self only. The whole materialistic world is moving under the such false egoism of I and mine. But the factual effect of chanting the holy name is to become free from such misconceptions. Hare Krishna.
Okay, I thought we all know the 10 offenses. The verse itself is interesting. It's very similar to another verse that akama sarvakamo va mokshakamo dadadi tivrena bhakti. That whether you have all material desires or you have no material desires or you just want liberation, the real recommendation is just to serve Krishna. So the same thing is being repeated again and again. So the question is, how has reading has helped you to maybe overcome being offensive? Something you have to think about. It's much easier if you start writing. You just want to talk. Personally, myself, I would have trouble trying to put it together right off the bat. But, I'd come up with something. That's the way it goes.
I think one thing I can remember is that in the Prabhupada said that if one continuously chant the holy name, even when one has the challenges, the holy name has the potency to be able to ultimately help one to be able to overcome those challenges. So one thing I can say I've learned in this test is that it increases the faith in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That by simply having faith and continuously chanting the holy name, one can overcome whatever challenges that is there in the process of execution of devotion and service, inclusive of the chanting and the hearing process. In other words, the chanting itself and hearing from great devotees is the medication, is the panacea for solving all of material or spiritual problems.
Yeah. And reading all this section, we know something more about what Krishna is, and then we know what the holy name is, and it should help us to have more respect, more understanding that Krishna is also a person, which is stressed again and again to all here. All right, that's a good start. Let's see what's next. Okay, that's personal. Other is another, number 2. Somebody read that. I didn't read already.
discuss Srimad Bhagavatam description of society in terms of ox, dogs, camels, and asses. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, chapter 3, text 19 to 23. I was studying this description, change your perception of modern society.
Okay, who's gonna go for it?
Okay, I'll put it on the screen. Men who are like dogs, ox, camels, and asses praise them, those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, deliverer from sins, from evils. And 20 says, one who has not listened to these messages about the prowess and marvelous act of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and a tongue like the tongue of a frog. 21 says that the upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden, if not bowed down before the personality of God, who can award mukti, freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man, if not engaged in the service of the personality of God, Sri Krishna, or Sri Hari. 22 says that the eyes, which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of God, of Godhead Vishnu, his forms, name, qualities, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs, which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered, are considered to be like tree trunks. And the 23rd says that the persons who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the lotus pure devotees upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the persons who has never experienced the aroma of the tulasi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Srila Prabhupada's purport to 23. Madhavan Prabhu, can you read? You are muted, Prabhu. You are muted. We are not hearing you.
Hey, sorry, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
According to Srila Visvanatha Chakravarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. When a man dies, it's called dead. But when it again appears in a subtle form, not visible to our present vision, and yet acts, such a dead body is called a ghost. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. Similarly, the ghost-like non-devotees who have no respect for the pure devotee nor for the Vishnu deity in the temples creates a fearful situation for the devotees at all times. The Lord never accepts any offering by such impure ghosts. There is a common saying that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiment for the beloved. Okay, for the beloved. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure devotee of the Lord. The first condition I'm having some problem. The first condition of devotional service to the Lord is therefore to be a servant of a pure devotee. And this condition is fulfilled by the statement, reception of the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who has also served another pure devotee. That is the way of pure disciplic succession or devotional parampara. Maharaj Rahul Gana inquired from the great saint Jada Bharat as to how he had attained such a liberated state of a paramahansa, and in answer, the great saint replied as follows in Bhagavatam 5:12. Rahul Ganaitat Tapasa Na Yati Na Chetyaya Vapanat Jayadva Na Cham Dasa Na Va Jagatni Suya Dina Mahat Padarajo Ise Kaham. O King Rahul Gana, the perfectional stage of devotional service or the parampara stage of life, Parahamsa stage of life, cannot be attained unless one is blessed by the dust of the feet of great devotees. It is never attained by tapasya, austerity, the Vedic worshipping process, acceptance of the renounced order of life, the discharge of the duties of household life, the chanting of the Vedic hymns, or the performance of penances in the hot sun, within cold water, or before the blazing fire. In other words, Lord Sri Krishna is the property of his pure, unconditional devotees, and as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtained directly. Lord Chaitanya, therefore, designated himself as Gopi Bharatu Pada Kamalaya Dasa Dasa No Dasa, or the most obedient servant of the Lord, who maintains the Gopis' damsel at Vrindavan. The pure devotee therefore never approaches the Lord directly, but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servant, and thus the Lord becomes pleased, and only then can the devotee relish the taste of the tulsi leaves stuck to their lotus feet. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming a great scholar of the Vedic literatures, but is very easily approachable through the pure devotee. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of the Lord. Srimati Radharani is a tender-hearted feminine counterpart of the Supreme Pole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotee. And once she recommends such a devotee to the Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is, therefore, that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than that of the Lord directly, and by one's doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Wow. Okay, now when you're going to have to write an essay or something for the test, you're going to want something besides just quoting the purport. But in order to get some understanding, we need the purport. So those were, what verses were those now? Can you put them up again?
It's 11th canto, second canto chapter 2 text number, second canto chapter 3 text 19 to 23. We just read the text number 23.
Yeah, put them up again.
I'm doing that, Maharaj.
You can share the screens too.
Yeah, I'm doing that. This is the verse.
That's the end of
2:3-23.
Okay, let's see the translation. Okay, now back to the question. How is studying this description, that's the hogs, dogs, asses, and camels, how has that affected your perception of modern society? I remember when I was reading these, it really hit me heavy, the first time. Wow, this is no nonsense stuff, but, right?
Yeah.
So what effect does it has on you? What do you think now when you see the big rich politician who's got 17 luxury cars and 5 mansions and all the money in the whole state? What do you think about him compared to this? Anyway, we went over this a few weeks ago very much, that hogs, dogs, asses, and camels, why these particular terms are used. Anybody remember? What is the special feature of the hogs?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah,
Ox, they eat anything. They don't discriminate about whatever they eat. And even stew they eat. So human beings should not be should not live their life like that. There must be discrimination. They don't just.
what do the hogs especially like to eat?
They eat stew.
Disgusting.
Stew.
And they're also noted for indiscriminate sex. They eat anything, actually. They're very powerful at eating. They can eat poison, nothing. They can eat very deadly poisonous snakes. So they're very dirty. And instead, they have no discrimination in sex. They have sex with their mother, sex with their daughter. They're very. So people are compared to them, these modern politicians especially. And the hogs and dogs, they both eat stew. What's the other one? Asses, donkeys. Many people are just like donkeys nowadays. What is the feature of them?
Foolishness.
Huh?
One of the major qualities of a house is that it's of foolishness.
Yeah, why? They work hard?
Work hard.
They work hard, carry a lot of loads, and go and eat grass. The owner will just keep some grass in front of them, and they will be hoping that very soon I will get this grass to eat. For that, they work very hard. In the end, they eat the grass, and the grass will turn their tongue, and the blood will mix with the grass, and it produces some kind of taste, which is likened to the taste of the sense gratification.
Yeah, and the grass is there all around anyway. And they get really misused, you know. You might have seen in Vrindavan how they load so many bricks on these little donkeys. Their legs are shaking. And the camels, that's the best one. Camels. What's the feature of the camels? What do the camels like to chew on? And what is it compared to? It's an important one. Come on. Don't
They
be.
chew tongues, and the tongue will tear their tongue, and the blood will mix with the tongue, and it produces some kind of taste, which is compared to like the taste arising from sense gratification.
Yeah, they taste the blood and think, oh, these thorns are so sweet and nice. And I've seen it. The tree, I saw them reaching way up in Vrindavan, and the thorns were like this long, you know, like this, like my finger, you know. Very strong thorns, like nails. And they're, but what specific sense gratification is that compared to? Come on, come on, come on.
Sex.
Right. Why is that?
It's, they work very, very hard, and only to for the sense to enjoy sex.
No, but
And some,
the example, the camel is eating the thorns and is tasting his own blood and thinking it's very nice.
The example is that of a man, a person, a male who is engaging in sex, thinking he's enjoying, but it's actually losing his lifespan. His life is getting reduced because he's losing blood, he's losing strength, he's losing energy, he's losing everything.
Yeah, it takes something like 64 drops of blood to produce 1 drop of semen or something. So when a man is having sex so much, he's losing his own blood, but he's thinking, this is so wonderful, this is so great. But it's just like cutting you and letting so much blood come out. It's a hard one to accept, but that's actually the scientific fact. You know? All right. So start thinking about these things and take some notes, you know. Okay, one more. This one is one I think every devotee should have an easy time to, anytime you give a class, practically you're gonna make whatever you need to answer this one. Mood and mission. Who will read it?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes. Common and how Srila Prabhupada statements in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, 1 and 2, regarding many.
Canto 2, chapter 1, text number 2. I think that's not what you're reading.
Yeah, That is the
it's not the place. This is 212.
Yeah.
okay.
Shrota, Vyani, Rajendra,
Oh, okay.
Rinam.
Those persons who are materially engrossed. Yes, Maharaj is reading the Sanskrit. Yes.
Yeah.
Rinam
Shanti Sahasrisha.
Exactly.
Upasyantam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And now read very loudly.
Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor.
Okay, now without reading the purport, make some comment on that.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we are, especially in this time of social media, we are not very careful. We easily get carried away by so many mundane, materialistic activities that is going on. To such an extent that if one is not very careful, he can get himself carried away from transcendental subject discussions or matters.
Right. So what are some of those things? What are the most prominent ones?
Like political talks.
Right, number one. Especially in my experience of seeing newspapers, West Africa wins the first prize for political subjects in the newspaper. And they're really good writers, I have to say. You start reading it, it's very fascinating. And then you realize it's all a bunch of crap. You know, who knows what's true? They just say whatever they want about politicians and politics. And then they have now on the internet, you have the CNN and the BBC and the Al Jazeera and so many news stations. Some of them are admittedly false news. It's more entertaining, you know, to just know this is false. What can you make up? What else is another subject that absorbs many people's minds?
Maharaj,
Usually on
please.
the back side of the newspaper.
Mundane telenovels.
What is it?
Mundane telenovels. Mundane telenovels. That is movies, stories that have nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Also absorb people's mind.
Very much. The movies, the movie reviews, the television shows, and then sports is a big one, right? People are very fascinated with the sports, of course, and they're gambling on the games. And so all these things are insanity. It keeps everybody busy. So when we tell them to read Bhagavad Gita, they say, I don't have time. So they keep busy hearing, they're all hearing and chanting. That's not something that everybody's doing that. Okay, now read the purport. And the last line is grihati, grihasti, grihati. It's a very important 2 words to know also. Most of our devotees are grihastas. Hopefully grihastas is not grihamadis. We should know the difference. Okay, someone who hasn't read before, read the purport.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, can I read?
Please.
Purport. In the revealed scriptures, there are 2 nomenclatures. for the householder's life. One is Grihastha and the other is Grihamedhi. The Grihasthas are those who live together with a wife and children, but live transcendentally for realizing the ultimate truth. The Grihamedis, however, are those who live only for the benefit of the family members, extended or centralized, and thus are envious of others. The word Medhi indicates jealousy of others. The Grihamedis, being interested in family affairs only, are certainly envious of others. Therefore, one Grihamedi is not on good terms with another Grihamedi. And in the extended form, one community, society, or nation is not on good term with another counterpart of selfish interest. In the age of Kali, all the householders are jealous of one another because they are blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth. They have many subject matters for hearing: political, scientific, social, economic, and so on. But due to poor fund of knowledge, they set aside the question of the ultimate miseries of life, namely miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Factually, the human life is meant for the making an ultimate solution to birth, death, old age, and disease. But the grey Medis, being illusioned by the material nature, forget everything about the self-realization. The ultimate solution to the problem of the life is to go on back home, back to Godhead. And thus, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 8.16, the miseries of material existence, birth, death, old age, and disease are removed. The process of going back home, back to Godhead, is to hear about the Supreme Lord and His name, form, attributes, pastimes, paraphernalia, and vegetedness. Foolish people do not know this. They want to hear something about the name, form, etc. of everything temporary, and they do not know how to utilize this potency city of hearing for the ultimate good. Misguided as they are also create some false literatures about the name, form, attributes, etc. of the ultimate truth. One should not therefore become a Gramedi simply to exist for envying others. One should become a real householder in terms of spiritual injunction. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. One time Prabhupada said Grihamedi means he's living in the house simply to die. In other words, just for having sex, for playing with his children, watching television, nowadays, surfing the internet, playing video games, which so many people are totally absorbed. That's another thing we didn't mention. Prabhupada lists off things like cinema and, but now we have, much more distractions. Online gambling, video games. These video games are very demonic. On your phone, if you go to the App Store or what do they call the Google Play Store? They even call it the Play Store. The first thing is all the newest games. And the people that design those games, they don't let their children even have a smartphone or any iPad or anything for fear they'll get addicted, because they design the games to be addictive. Otherwise, there's no use. If the app isn't instantly addictive, nobody cares about it. So all these things are there. I just felt bad. I heard some sad news about one of our devotees, householder, who decided to be a Grihamedi and got a new girlfriend and left his wife and children. So everybody please pray for him. He can wake up. Something will happen. As if we need to be a grihasta, means the house is for Krishna. You know, you worship Krishna, you chant Hare Krishna. It's not a difficult thing. You don't need an opulent house. You don't need a lot of money. All you need is a roof over your head and, you know, maybe doors to keep the thieves out. But just a place to chant, read the Bhagavad Gita, offer things to Krishna, and that's a grihasta. And train your wife, train the children, help each other to serve Krishna. This is, you know, perfect family life. And we have nothing against families. There was a lot of mistakes in the early days of ISKCON. The brahmacharis thought the grihastas are fallen and sense gratifiers, but many grihastas are much more strict devotees than many brahmacharis in the different ashrams. But that's not the point. The point is to think of Krishna. Whatever ashram suits us, one that gives the most facility to serve Krishna, that's perfect. So let's all become grihastas and try to help other devotees also. It's unfortunate sometimes we don't know what's going on. And I remember reading about one Christian, and he was running these cell groups, you know, Bhakti Vriksha kind of things. And one of the groups, it was announced that one of their members, they weren't going to be attending the meetings anymore. And they were attending regularly, and everybody was studying the Bible. But they weren't attending anymore because they were going through a divorce. So this teacher asked, did anybody know that this couple, members of your club, was having trouble in their marriage? And nobody knew. Nobody knows each other. So how can we help each other? So we have to make friends with devotees, and in preaching or to make friends with the people. That'll make us very strong and attract many, many people. And, you know, friendship, even in marriage, romance is a very flickering, quick thing. It's not, doesn't last very long. Can pretend, but the friendship between the husband and the wife, between the parents and the children, that's what's really important. And then we make friends with the whole community. So we're always ready to help each other. All right, just wanted to throw that in. It got on my mind pretty heavy. So anyway, that's an easy one, but what is Prabhupada's mood in understanding this? What is Prabhupada's mood in? This is what we're really here for. That's what we study for, is so we can get empowered to serve his mood. What was his mood? What is his mood? Joyti?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. What is Prabhupada's mood regarding this stuff?
Yeah, Prabhupada is trying to show us, like, even if we are in grihastha sthiti, even if we are with family, we should surrender everything to Krishna and worship Krishna with family. I mean, we shouldn't only live with family in the house just to satisfy our senses. So we should be like grihastha. We shouldn't be grihamedis.
All right, but what was Prabhupada's, main mission? For grihastas, for brahmacharis, for everybody?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, let me try. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Let me try. Back to God.
Yeah, to preaching. So it's interesting. Here's this, I think this was maybe just put up today on the West African or the African WhatsApp. And it's an important instruction, and I'm very happy to say that it's coming out a lot in West Africa. Can anybody read that? It's a short thing. It says, Hari Sari.
Hari, sorry.
Prabhupada explained that one of his strategies for making possible Krishna conscious was to distribute profuse amount of prasadam. He said that people are almost like animals in the way they live. They don't know anything other than their bodies. At least let them eat prasadam, for that's also Krishna, he said. Our program is to help people gradually become Krishna conscious. Simply by eating prasadam, they will gradually develop an attraction to Krishna. And when that develops, they will be able to understand the philosophy simply by eating prasadam. Prasadam distributions was one definite way the people could make some advancement.
All right. So that's going on more and more. One thing I'm asking, sometimes I see videos of the prasadam distribution. I don't hear any kirtan. So I'm wondering if there's kirtan along with it. I know when I went in Lagos, we had a lot of kirtan and giving out the prasadam at the same time, even to the Muslim beggars and everything. I think it even said Hare Krishna on the box. So even if they don't know it's prasadam, it's still good for them if they don't know it's Krishna. But if they do know it's Krishna, then it's so much better if they know it's Krishna is giving them this food, right? But if people regularly eat prasadam, they'll develop the ability to understand, more. Prabhupada stressed it a lot. Even in India, don't even tell them any philosophy. Don't even say you're not the body, and just give them prasadam. So the more the better, the more we can give it out. If we can make restaurants, and because a lot of puffed up people, they won't take free food, but if you have a restaurant, they'll buy it. And that's also very good. In many countries, many devotees have business. They make some kind of prasadam and sell it. Either just go out on the street and sell it, or they give it in shops or whatever. But that's Prabhupada's mission. His mood was, how can we help these people, that are busy, so bewildered and distracted by all these different subject matters, business and sports scores and, who's the latest movie star divorce. They have that in West Africa. Your big movie stars, they also having all kinds of love affairs and divorces, and they have that also, like Hollywood. Does Bollywood have that? No. What do you call it? Nollywood?
Yes, Nollywood.
They have the same thing. They have the beautiful movie stars having a big romance, and then they're divorcing, right?
Yes.
In Hollywood, they have and Bollywood also, so many magazines just dedicated to that, and people love it. So they can think about it. It must be the most, it's all imitation Radha and Krishna. but they're imitation Sita and Ram, you know, these beautiful, perfect couples, but they're not the same because they're always breaking up and having, you know, outside of, you know, different, becoming drug addicts or whatever. So, and people love to, you know, hear about all that garbage. So, or the latest football star that suddenly admitted he's gay, you know, so much insane stuff will come in the headlines and fascinate everybody. And so they have no time for Krishna. I was distributing books on the train in India one time. We would ride the train from Mathura to Delhi and distribute books. And so everybody had a newspaper, sometimes 3 newspapers. And they would say either, I don't have any time to read the Bhagavad Gita, or I can't afford to read the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Indian people are a little bit easier to crack, you know. So I said, well, these newspapers, you're spending like 3 rupees a day for newspapers. That's 100 rupees a month. And you can buy the Bhagavad Gita for 100 rupees. And then you never have to buy anything else. You can just read it again and again. Many of them would get embarrassed and then they would buy the Bhagavad Gita. Or they'd say they didn't have time. I said, but you're spending so much time reading these newspapers and it's the same thing every day, you know. And then they'd again get embarrassed, and not all of them, some of them would just say, leave me alone, you know. But this is the condition that the people are in. They're just bewildered. Reading all this junk, you know. And then now they got the internet and they got much more all stuff. We have to help them. That Prabhupada's mood is, they're suffering, they're going to hell, and we have the medicine. They're, you know, they're worried about some little COVID or some little thing that'll make them sick for a few days, but they're not worried about taking birth again and again in lower species and going to hell. They don't even believe it. We have to wake them up. That's Prabhupada's mood. That's what this lesson is about. Anyway, like I said, if you're giving a class, you're going to say these things automatically. It's going to come out. You all know these things. I'm just putting you on the spot. Okay, let's see now. You're supposed to be the knowing. I don't know when I can. Just one more little section left on this lesson plan thing. What you should be understanding. So, Salika, how should we do this? Just read it? Getting a lot of echo. I don't know what from. It's a nice, this is very nice. This end of the unit should be able to, we should have read this from the very beginning. But we did, I tried to bring up all these things. What is the connection? Salika, I'll get you here, a scholar. What is the connection between first and second canto?
That's a tough one. The connection between the first canto and the second canto. so tough.
That's an interesting one.
It's very interesting.
They describe meditation on the legs of the Lord.
Well, yeah, they're the left and right foot of the Lord. Represent the feet.
The first canto is talking about the creation of the Lord, and the second canto talking about the cosmic manifestations, how he manifested the various aspects of the creation. My understanding is the first canto tries to bring ones to the understanding of the Lord and how he creates different manifestations. And then the second canto elaborates on that creation.
Okay, now, that's correct, of course. In the very beginning of the Bhagavatam is questions by the sages. And then there's a very summary, not a summary, but a quick answer to those questions. But in the second canto, it's like detailed answers to those questions by the sages. You know, very detailed. Like we just went over some of them, how things come down from the Mahatattva and the modes of nature. And so that's one thing I can think of. Anyone else? Does anybody know what those 6 questions are?
That I think I can try. One is the first question is what is the absolute
All right, can you see that?
what is the absolute and ultimate good for people in general? I think that's the first question. What is the absolute good for every? Chaitanya Prema, probably, can you sit down properly? Adjust your video. What is the ultimate?
My video is off. My video is off.
The questions are in italics.
The video is on.
Here's what I found.
Who can read it?
It's a little bit tiny, Maharaj. But I think I can check from my side and
Okay.
see.
What is the absolute ultimate good for everyone?
Right.
Yes, I think that's
The ultimate good for everyone is pure love of God, achieved by constant hearing about, glorifying, remembering, and worshiping the personality of Godhead. What is the essence of all scriptures? The essence of all scriptures is to please Lord Krishna by all one's activities. Why did Lord Krishna appear himself? Lord Krishna appeared in order to attract the living entities to his original form and pastimes, so that the living entities may go to his own abode called Goloka Dharma. Please describe the pastimes of Lord Krishna. The Lord appeared as the son of Devaki. He was nourished in the house of Nanda Maharaj. He killed many demons like Putana and Kamsa. He took the sides of the Pandavas and enabled them to win in the Mahabharata war. Yeah. Please tell us the purpose of the 10 best known incarnations. 1, to save the Vedas, the fish incarnation, to oppose the Manda mountain, the tortoise incarnation, to lift the heart, the boar incarnation, to kill Hiranyakashipu, the half-man, half-lion incarnation, to show mercy to Bali Maharaj, the dwarf incarnation, to kill the sinful kings, Parashurama, to kill Ravana, Lord Rama, to kill the demon like Dvidvida, Lord Balaram, to stop animal sacrifice, Lord Buddha, to kill the plunderers, Lord Kalki. Where has religion taken shelter now that Krishna has left the world? Religious principles have taken shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam Puran. That is all, Maharaj.
Okay. All right, here's just something for a little relief from intense thinking. You ready? Somebody want to read that answer? It's a little different.
What is absolute ultimate good for everyone? The ultimate good for everyone is pure love of God, achieved by constantly hearing about, glorifying, remembering, and worshiping the personality of God as Sri Krishna.
Yeah, so second canto has, details about all that, which we were discussing earlier.
What is the essence of all the Vedic literature? The essence of all Vedic literature, scriptures, is to please Lord Krishna by one's activities.
Yeah, they asked Sutta Goswami because you've studied all the different scriptures and, you've heard from so many different teachers, so please tell us the essence. Essence is what we want. And then how is we've been given the essence? by Prabhupada. Huh? Who knows? We have the essence, correct? Correct or not? Correct or not?
Someone should read.
We have what is the essence of all the Vedas?
The essence of all scriptures, the Vedic literatures, is to please Lord Krishna by all one's activities.
Okay, what book is the essence of all the Vedas?
The essence of all the Vedas is to know Krishna.
No, I'm asking, we have, what is, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of the Vedas. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Vedas. And the essence of that is to please Krishna, that's what it's all about. So how do we learn to do that? That's by Srimad Bhagavatam. We read that, we're going over this a second time. Why did Lord Krishna appear himself?
Lord Krishna Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, please. Lord Krishna appeared in order to attract the living entities to his original form and pastime, so that the living entity may go back to his own abode called Goloka. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so you could dig into the Bhagavad Gita and see all the times where Krishna says, you will attain to me and you will go to my abode and you will be with me.
So through studying the Srimad Bhagavatam.
And then in the Bhagavatam, he actually revealed all his leelas, his Goloka leelas, to attract us. So we have to hear about them. We want to read regularly. Otherwise, if we're reading about the politics, we'll be attracted to that. I've heard devotees, arguing about this presidential campaign or this one or that one being the best. And, I just can't believe it actually, because they're all rascals. Please describe the pastimes of Krishna. Now, in the second canto, we have the more detailed descriptions of all the incarnations, which are all pastimes of Krishna. There's predictions of all the different incarnations. There's predictions about Krishna and Vrindavan and everything. So it's all connected. The whole Bhagavatam is just to answer these questions, actually. So that's another thing.
So, Rasavan Prabhu, can you read this one? Rasavan Prabhu, can you read this one?
Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, I think it has changed though.
Can you read the one on the screen? Read the one on the screen.
Okay. The one that's on the screen says, please tell us the purpose of the 10 incarnations of Godhead. So the answer is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, tells us about the 10 incarnations of Lord Krishna. their mission, and how Krishna is the source of all the avatars. Hare Krishna.
And like I just said, there's another whole more detail of these avatars in the second canto, and then later on there's whole cantos which specifically talk about different avatars. So it's all connected to the first canto, which is where we start to get the basic idea. See what else it is. There's quite left here, but see what else it comes up with. That's the 6 questions. And those are good questions, and those are the kind of things we should be thinking about.
Jyotisharu Prabhu.
Right, this is a good one.
Where has religion taken shelter now that Krishna has left this world? So the answer is religious principles have taken shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Punar Narko Sahodata. This Purana, which is just like the sun, to dissipate the dense darkness of the Kali Yuga. They were worried that Krishna has left, and where will religious principles and all these things go? And the answer is very simple. It will give light. So we want to stay out of the darkness. We want to open our own eyes and the eyes of others. Now is coming up on the Bhadra Purnima, a special time for distributing Srimad Bhagavatam. You will get extra special mercy and express train to Goloka, express bus, I guess, in your country, to Goloka by distributing Srimad Bhagavatam during this period. The Bhadra Purnima, auspicious Purnima. Okay, so any last comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna
Yeah.
Maharaj.
Yes,
And please, can you share that video, YouTube link on the group chat, please?
I didn't hear you.
I'm requesting that if you can share the YouTube link for that screen you're sharing.
You just put in your search 6 questions by the sages at Naimisharanya. There's a whole bunch of them, actually.
Okay, there are so many of them there. This particular one I was thinking of. So
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
First one. Then there's some classes, long class, I see like 1 hour. A couple of full-on classes. And this one, this is from the Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapita, that an overview. It's only 4 minutes. Would you like to watch that one?
Yes, madam.
So we start chapter 2, which has been named as Divinity and Divine Service.
You got it now?
Yes, Maharaj.
Now, in chapter 1, sages acknowledged the qualification of Suta Goswami. And after acknowledging the qualification of Suta Goswami, they raised 6 inquiries. What is the ultimate and absolute good? What is the essence of all scriptures? What is or why Sri Krishna appeared as son of Vasudeva and Devaki? So regarding the birth of Lord, then activities of Lord Krishna, then activities of Lord's incarnations, and after the disappearance of the Lord, what is the shelter of religious principles? 6 questions were raised. Now, Suta Goswami has to answer those questions. So, in this chapter 2, the first 5 verses, Suta Goswami offers his invocation prayers. And as a part of invocation prayers, he glorifies Shukadev Goswami. That is his spiritual master. And then he also offers obeisances to 4 other personalities, which will be discussed in text 4. And then he acknowledges the exalted nature of the inquiries of the audience. That is the sages. So before attempting to answer any of these 6 questions, first he glorifies, offers his obeisances to the following personalities: to Shukadev Goswami, who is a spiritual master, and then to 4 other personalities, that is text 4, and then to the audience, the sages. And after offering his prayers, then he attempts to answer the first 2 questions, which is what is the absolute and ultimate good, and what is the essence of all scriptures. So first 2 questions are answered. And how they are answered? They are answered in text 6 till 29. So first 2 questions are answered in text 6 to 29. And then after that, 30 to 34, he answers to 3rd and 4th question. So text 1 to 5, invocation prayers. 6 to 29, first 2 questions are answered. 30 to 34, 3rd and 4th questions of the sages, which are asked in first chapter, they are answered. And then after that, in chapter 3, so I write here, chapter 3 is answer to 5th and 6th question. So this is the way all 6 questions are answered by the end of chapter 3. And after that, we will see sages ask some more questions, because they want to hear complete Srimad Bhagavatam. Now we will be dealing with this section, these few sections one by one. So now let us discuss the first 5 verses. Hare Krishna.
All right.
Hare Krishna.
So a lot is around.
Too many sites are littered with issues. Is yours?
Now,
Brihajar, you can see
time
what
is
people
up.
do on your site in real time. Spot bugs swiftly and find opportunities to improve. Build the life.
Yeah, there's so many of them
Tantra.
on YouTube.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, we want
Please,
to,
I have a comment before we round up.
all right.
I think we have not done enough in terms of teaching people vegetarian diets. I believe that we should open many restaurants and to teach people how to cook vegetarian food. We have a book, Higher Taste, and there's a lot that was explained how we can make these foods. But I don't think we really did much, because most of the problem majority of people are having is that the meat eating habits which they've cultivated because of the society. So if you can teach them and people can realize that vegetarian food is also a higher taste, then it can help many people in terms of accepting Vedic culture and knowledge. That's my opinion, Maharaj.
Yeah, that's why we talk about distributing prasadam.
But like you said some people are popped up. Only poor people were given prasadam to the streets, not the generality of the people as such.
No matter what, though, you have to give them. See, just theoretically, we don't want to be a vegetarian movement, but if they eat prasadam, they're going to get purified, and they can easily understand that this vegetarian food is satisfying their belly, giving them strength and energy. So that's whatever else you're doing with a certain class of people, maybe some scientific explanation will help. But no matter who it is, they need to taste. So it's correct. Prabhupada said, if they become devotees, they'll automatically be vegetarian. That's why we spread the holy name and we distribute prasadam, because that gives them a taste and shows them, okay, I ate this vegetarian food and I'm not starving. I've got energy. I feel good. These devotees are vegetarians and they have so much energy. So that's scientific. That's a good point. Main thing is we want people to somehow know about Krishna. But distributing prasadam is very, very important because their minds are so degraded. But by eating prasadam, they get purified. That's why when we distribute prasadam, we want to make sure it's cooked by devotees and distributed, in a loving mood of giving people Krishna, not just to get donations. All right. So tomorrow, what's a good time for all of, now tomorrow, you have a Vyas Puja for Bhakti Tirtha Swami in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, we can have it in the morning, Maharaj, if it is okay with you.
The morning is what, for me, I as long as it's over by, for me, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm all right. So any time in the morning is good.
Where are you now, Maharaj?
I'm in Israel, so it's 3 hours later than Ghana, 4 hours later than, now it's 8:30 night.
So, okay.
And you're
so 8:39, that's 2 hours ahead of, Israel is 2 hours ahead of Nigeria. So we do it by 7:30 Nigerian time. That will be that will be 9:30 Israel time.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So 7:30 Nigeria time, 6:30 Ghana time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or Ghana time devotees, is that 6:30 all right, or you want 7:30 Ghana time? Because we want everybody to be there.
Yeah, I think 7:30 will be okay for us.
Okay.
There's a program in the afternoon.
7:30 Ghana time, 8:30 Nigerian time.
Ghana time. Yes, 7:30 Ghana time. So that by that time, I think we finish
7:30 Ghana time.
Okay, that will be 8:30 Nigerian time, 10:30 Israel time.
10:30 for me. Yeah, that's
so
good.
if it's good for Maharaj.
That's good. Anytime in the morning is good.
Okay, so we'll do a 7:30 Nigeria, Ghana time.
Yes, please.
8:30 Nigeria and 10:30 Israel.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Dandavat Pranam,
Panchakapata Rubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Sevascha Nanda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Ki Jai. Holiness Kavicandra Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Maharaj has already left.
Now Yogi level. Yogi Raj.
Okay, so
Hare Krishna.
7:30 Nigerian time. So Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, so your examination, you know what time you want to put it?
You said 7:30 Ghana time?
7:30 Ghana time is for Bhakti Vaibhava.
Okay. So then we have to start by 10.
No, we'll be finishing by 10:30. Okay, 10 o'clock, 10 Ghana time.
Yes.
Okay, 10 o'clock Ghana time. Okay,
Yes.
no problem. I'll just on the platform, I'll leave the platform for you that time because you've been writing an exam, right?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Because that 10 o'clock will be 11 o'clock my time. I need to do some other things before because I'm still going to be hosting but I'll get the platform open for your exams. I don't necessarily have to be there because I think I'm not sharing anything for you.
Yes.
I can be there with you, but I'll be busy doing some other things. So.
You will give me co-host, then you go.
Okay,
because the exam will be on the screen and I have to be there with
no problem. I can do that for you. And
okay.
I can be online, but I'll be busy preparing because I have to finish my program also or other things. And then tomorrow is like I'm going to be online throughout the whole day because I'm going to have
yes.
So 1 o'clock I'll be busy. Then from 1 o'clock I'll enter the memorial program. But it's okay. It's good to be engaged rather than not being engaged.
Yeah, better.
Okay, thank you very much, devotees.
Thank you. The memorial program is in Ghana is what time?
It's 2 o'clock Ghana time, 3 o'clock Nigeria.
Okay, then exactly 2 o'clock okay, 10 to 12. Okay. Hare Krishna.
12
we'll be
o'clock,
there.
yes.
Thank you.
You have to, you are in the Gurudev Samadhi.
Yes.
You're giving us darshan of Gurudev. Let's see Gurudev now. Let's see Gurudev.
You want to see? Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
COVID-19 has kept us in Nigeria for so long.
It's good.
His Holiness Bhakti Tita Swami Maharaj ki jai. So COVID-19 is gone, so we should be there very soon. Jai, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you then.